We live, baby. I'm so excited about this life.
So I don't say nothing crazy.
Don't say nothing crazy, baby. I mean, you can, but they're gonna hear you. So, speak at your own risk. Today, look, our goal is to double the finances and joy of 1,000 families in the next 5 years. How we plan on doing that is really leading by example. LBE, lead by example. I'm not trying to preach at you. I want to educate, tell you on exactly what I'm experiencing and how I'm living, practicing what I'm preaching. You know, my boy Jay, I was on his live the other day, and I hopped out, but the video was still playing out of his live. So you know how you can stay on the outside of a live? So a lot of people right now are outside of the live listening in thinking, am I going to jump in here or not? So you know how you're outside in that lobby. That lobby, I was in his lobby. He said, Josh just out there practicing what he preached. And I heard him say that. First of all, friends talk good about you behind your back. Friends talk well about you behind your back. Okay? Well, even with me out of the room, he says, nah, Josh out there practicing what he preaching. Said the best thing he could possibly say about it. So I'm telling you, people are watching you, and your friends are speaking well about you behind your back. So remember that. Today, what I want to go over is really increasing the joy, doubling the joy portion. And I'm going to talk about love today. How many people want to talk about love, actually? This is one of those areas where LBE, lead by example. If I didn't have a relationship that I loved, I wouldn't be talking to y'all about this topic. I would be out of integrity if I talked to you about the topic. I actually have to be in love. This is a lot of people don't do this, but I do. I have to be in love in order to talk about love. In my world, I have to actually be in love to talk about love and teach love. So I am in love. I love my wife. I love my life. I love everything that's happening to us. I love this. This is happening to me. It's happening. Call things that are not as though they are, and then those things that are become what you call them. That's another way of saying that Bible scripture. So I want you to actually be in love. That's what I want to talk about today. Let's get straight into it. I'm not going to beat around the bush. A lot of y'all want to know, how do I increase the love in my relationship? How do I get a better person? A lot of y'all thinking that. I've been there. How do I increase the kind of person I can connect with? The quality of person. I remember it was a series of time when a lot of people liked me, I didn't like them. I'm like, I'm attracting people, but they're not the people I want to attract. I wanted to attract the people I wanted to attract. Anybody feel that experience? Where you're attracting people, but it's just not what you want, and you want to attract what you really do want? How many people in that situation? So today, we're going to be talking about that in love. I'm going to tell you, the way that I started to attract a higher quality person for my life leading to my soulmate, the way that I learned to do this is I learned to have an intent is the number one thing. This is what we are recently learning at a deep level. To have an intent is the most important thing, because you get what you focus on. You get what you focus on. This is how it works. So you get what you focus on. Since you get what you focus on, when you have an intent, here's the difference between an intent and thinking. All right? Here you are at the start. You're at the start. The journey from here to the finish, right, and it's in between, is the how. Okay? So you start, finish. You are here right now. This is the how, and the finish is it's the finish. Is what you want. Now, here's what we do wrong, and this is what I was just doing wrong for this whole time. until just right now realizing it, like, I think how long ago? 15 minutes ago?
Yeah.
So 15 minutes ago, we had a realization that we were doing something wrong. And this is what we're talking about now. We were doing something wrong. I was thinking incorrectly. I was focused on, guess what? The how. I kept thinking about what we were going to do over and over again. So guess where it kept me? It kept me in between where I am. I'm doing things, but the thing is not manifesting for me. This is why things are not manifesting for you. And I want you to reverse this tonight. Because if I can reverse it, I can double your joy in your life and double the finances in your life. Because when you feel better, you create better. So this is where I was in my thinking. So my thinking had me all in the how. Now, just this week, I had an accomplishment. I wanted to cut my screen time significantly because I saw that I spent so much time on TikTok and YouTube that I was wasting my life, essentially. That's what I just did. How long ago was this, babe? Like 2 weeks ago?
Yeah, something like that.
2 weeks ago. I'm realizing I'm wasting my life. 58 hours between TikTok and YouTube that week. I could not believe my eyes. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. Legitimately couldn't believe it. I told myself I need to get better. I need to change. And I set an intention to do stuff in real life so I don't have the time to be on TikTok. So guess what I did? I got to work. 81%. I'm down 81% on my screen time. I'm excited about that. That's an accomplishment for me. Y'all got to enjoy your small wins. Make sure you love on yourself and celebrate your small wins. This is a small win for me. 81% down in a week is a win for me. Count your wins. But here's the deal. I realized in that small example that starting where I am, this is where I am. This is the interesting part. This is where you get mystical. A little mystical. Where I am is where I start, right? So if I am where I start, where I am, how am I supposed to get to the finish? The answer is, this is true. This is what intention is. You bring the finish to where you are. You bring the end, the final destination, within you, in your own self, in who you are. This is called intention. When you bring the future into yourself, into this moment here and now where you're starting, you bring the whole finish into it. If you start to do this, you will double your joy in the next year. If you start to do this, you will double your joy in the next year. You will be happier. You will actually feel better for the first time in years. You know how good you felt when you were a kid? If y'all can remember to some certain childhood memories. A lot of you remember the traumatic ones. But I'm telling you, when you start to bring the finish in, you clear space to remember the good times and bring them in. You can bring in the good times into your heart, into your soul. By the way, I'm not a pastor, preacher. I don't have any credentials. I've never graduated college. I've never gone to seminary. I don't have a certificate to coach anybody. All I am is a regular person who keeps applying these principles. I came up from a real tough place that people don't make it out of in Bond Hill, Ohio, in Cincinnati. And everybody around me were three of my uncles went to jail over 8 years. I think 8 years each one. It could be. Very well be that much. Between my two uncles. My dad is in jail, been in jail since I was 2 years old, 1.5. Still there to this day. And that's the kind of masculinity I grew up in an environment in. So just imagine what my mind was absorbing. And then my other uncle, he doesn't do anything. This is what I visually see in the masculinity in the world of my life. So think about this. And here I am. This is my win, y'all, by the way. Here I am. I have created success in my life to the degree that I didn't know that I could do. It was an accomplishment for me. Here's me celebrating my small win again. I only made $250,000 in a year. That's my highest at this point that I made. Now, look, that may be pennies to somebody else, but it's my celebration. Celebrate your win. Where were you versus where you are? I'm telling you, think like this, you can double your joy in the next year. You can double your joy in the next month and feel like you've never felt before if you start to bring this finish where you want to be into the now to where you are. That's intention. You can create some incredible life for yourself. So what you have to do if you want to double your joy, bring the finish here. What does it mean? I know what it looks like if I'm married. I know what it looks like if I love my person. I know what it feels like if I love my person. I know what it feels like if I had what I wanted. I know what it feels like. That's the finish. When you know what it feels like, you are knowing what it feels like right where you are, meaning bringing the finish into the start. You have to start with the end in mind. What happens after that is into the start. You have to start with the end in mind. What happens after that when you just start doing the right things. Everything's in one dot. It's right at the start. The finish is at the start. The how is at the start. Meaning the finish is here. The how is here. It's happening in the moment through you. If you think like this, you can even double your finances. Look, if you want to double your finances, you may not be able to think about making double what you made last year. Maybe you can't. But what you can do is go as far as you can see. So I want you to do me a favor. If you do this, if you change this one thing, you'll change your life. Change your goal to match what you can believe. Change your goal to something that matches what you can believe. In my experience, if I try to believe in something that I do not believe in truly, if I try to make myself set a goal that I don't truly believe I can get or even want, I cannot achieve it, no matter how big the goal is. This is what I noticed on my journey. It can help you. Bring the finish into the moment. Just bring the finish into the moment. You can double your joy and you can double your finances. If you bring the amount of money that you believe you can get into the moment, what happens here is you start to be that person and you start to do the how that would make that true right here in the moment. That's why intentions are more important than the how. If you ask the question, how am I supposed to do that? The problem is, the answer is, I don't know. That's the real answer. You actually don't know how you're going to get to the finish line. That's the problem with thinking about the how in this circle. That is why you feel stuck. Anybody feel stuck? If you get unstuck, it'll make your life so much better. I promise you. You will feel free. You will feel flowing. You will feel feminine. If you want to feel that femininity, you will feel feminine. You will feel connected to. You will feel cared for, concerned for, loved, embodied, held, seen, understood. Just by getting your head out of how am I supposed to do that? If you can remove yourself from this cyclical thinking, this is why analysis leads to paralysis. Good. Trust that process. Trust that process. What are you trying to get unstuck from? And let's do a breakdown. Let's actually break this down live. You can even come up live if you want. If you feel anxious about that, just stay messaging. But we can talk one-on-one here. Okay? Because if I can, our goal is to double the happiness and joy and double the finances of 1,000 families in the next 5 years. The way we plan on doing that is coming online and teaching this kind of content and providing opportunities with AI and other things that allow people to double their money in real life. Having a product that's relevant to today, businesses of today, teaching people how to start businesses from scratch. We can teach you those kind of things. And that's how we are doubling the finances of 1,000 couples, 1,000 families. And if it's our goal, our check mark, our star is when a couple actually succeeds. Not just one individual, but a couple. So that incentivizes us to make sure that we get you in a connection with the person you're designed to be with for the rest of your life. If you feel like there is somebody for you in your life, there is somebody for you in your life. I remember feeling like it was somebody for me in my life, like I was destined to be with somebody in my life. I knew I was destined. It was in me. I felt that. I felt connected to that. I knew that was true about me in my life. So I felt destined to be connected to my one person. So every time that I would come in contact with a person who was not my person, I just would have to deny it. At some point, maybe I'm with you for a year or 2 years or 5 years in a marriage, but I have to connect with my real person. And that's real. I was in a marriage for 5 years that I was not my person. It happened all the time. We don't know that when we start, but it turns out that way. And then you just go and go and go and fail, what you would call failure if you quit. But you just learn. And that's what we did. We just learned who we were not supposed to be with. And you only can know that by forgetting what people say and throwing yourself totally into love. You have to just believe in love. I believed in love. That's what I believed in. I believed in love. And that's what you feel coming off of me. If you ever feel love from me, that's where I get it from. I believed in love, and love is in my life. The love, Alicia is made of love. It's who she's made of. It's what she's made of. And that's my girl. Ooh. How is that connection? I believed in love, and she is love. How unbelievable is that? I am the beginning and the end. Yes, it's true. When you say I am, it is the beginning and it's the end. So if you are in the how, then you are staying in the how. The end, your end is the how. If you start in the how, you end in the how. Yes, I am the beginning and the end. If you start from the how, you will end here. You'll always be here. You got to know where you want to start from because you know where you want to end at. When you start from the end, that's the intent. I intend to double the finances and double the joy of 1,000 families in 5 years. That's what my intent is. Now I absolutely know what to do. Based on that, I know where I am. It works like this. I can feel it. So if something doesn't feel like it's doubling the joy or doubling the money, and I can't see it's doubling the financial success of a family, and we can't measurably know that that's happening, then we are not going to do it. We're going to continue to upgrade what we do until we can double the finances and joy of 1,000 families in 5 years. I like the person I'm going to become by accomplishing and creating that into my world. I'm becoming my intent. Great observation. And like Alicia said, reflection. Yeah, look, I'm going to tell you, if you want to get rid of this fear and you want to move into faith and you really are serious about it and you really want to change your life, then I have a gift for 3 people who message me. I'm only doing it for 3 people. We're going to give you our master course for free. 3 people only. The first 3 people who message me right now are getting it. What it is how it's going to be totally free for you. Not going to cost you a dime. And what it's going to do is show you the framework of the universe and energy on how you can overcome that fear. Thank you for the love. Thank you for the love. What's up, Monique? So this is a beautiful time for us. Because when I tell you, practicing what you preach is better than teaching it. It's better. Practicing what you preach, first of all, seeing other people succeed is the best. There is nothing else that feels better than that. Seriously, when you have succeeded at something and you watch other people learn and succeed and overcome their thing, because you know that's what they're doing. If you made it to any level of anything, you're excited for people who are overcoming, because what you're overcoming is you're overcoming your environment, you're overcoming just negative people, you're overcoming negative thoughts, you're overcoming negative habits, negative tendencies. You're overcoming negativity is what you're overcoming. So overcoming negativity is hard. Negativity is hard. Like let's just call it exactly what it is. But that's what you're doing. You're overcoming negativity. And funny thing, built-in mechanism, you feel so much pain from being negative that you want to stop being negative. And that's the game, and it starts the path. But you are banishing negativity. Negativity comes from thinking about the how. That's where negativity comes from. If you want to know where a devil is, in my mind, the devil is the one that gets you to think about how. I think that's what the devil's job is. Get them thinking about how. They won't know anything. They're going to be confused and lost if they ask how. They don't know how. We don't know how either. It's hilarious. Let's just keep them not knowing how. We know we don't know how, though. So we just don't. They don't know how, and we're going to keep them asking so that they can be confused. We're going to keep giving them hows that accomplish our outcomes. This is how you get scammed. This is how you get tricked. This is how you get propagandized. Okay? So, if you really want to do this, it's only going to be for 3 people. It's only going to be for 3 people. And we're going to work. So, if you DM me already, I got to check the DMs. But we're going to give you that free course. It's not a course. It's a processor. It processes your negativity. You know where negativity comes from? We say it's the how, but it's wrong thinking. The wrong thinking is thinking about the how at all. You don't know the answer to that question. So every time that you feel bad, you're stuck in the middle here. This is where you are, and this is where you will always be. You can't be over here unless you bring that here. You're always in the now. So your job is to bring whatever you want into the now so that the how can unfold. So really it looks like this. This is the real map. It's a start and it's an infinite progression and infinite unfolding. It's never finished. The finish is here. The finish is here. Look, when the finish is here, guess what disappears? When you are where you want to be, you stop thinking. This is called a clear mind. This is a clear mind. I'll follow you back in message. When you are the finish, all you do is stay where you are and let it unfold forward. Keep going forward to infinity. This is how a clear mind looks. Yes, it's complete. Thank you. Thank you. It's complete. If we can get on this frequency, y'all like this frequency? Y'all like this frequency? Y'all want to hold this frequency for a consistent amount of time, meaning all the time? Y'all want to? Let's do that together. I'm with you. If y'all want to do that with, I'm with that. You wouldn't have to think. You're being guided by, at this point, infinite intelligence. Infinite intelligence is now compelling you. That's what's really happening. Now, infinite intelligence, which is an infinite destination, is compelling you forward. All you have, the only direction you have, is forward. Everything you do is compelling you forward. Once you take the finish from out here and put it here. The start and the finish are both here. right here in this moment. The start and finish are here. Dwell in the end right now, and you will be compelled by infinite intelligence forward. This is how you can never make a wrong decision. Y'all ever been in flow state? By the way, if y'all go into this state, we can double the joy of your family in the next year, in the next 3 months, in the next week. It depends on how much you go into it. You can fully throw yourself over to the joy pool. You know that. You can just throw yourself over there. Decide to throw yourself over to the joy pool and swim in joy, truly at the deepest levels. You know you can do that, but you have to go deep first. You're trying to get into the moment is what you're trying to do. You have to go decide. That's it, man. Decide to go deep first.
Yeah.
I have a question about the flow state. What's the technique to get us there? Very good question. Very good question. Let's talk about the flow state first. Flow state is when the brain's activity decreases. Because there isn't extra going on. When you look at a person in a flow state, first of all, the brain activity decreases significantly. It gets concentrated in one spot. If you looked at a brain map when a person goes into flow, the brain activity decreases. And activity is only in one spot, a very small spot. That spot is essentially a spot between two frequencies. It's a spot between a learning frequency and a spot between total immersion with the divine. It's right between those two spots. When your consciousness is in that spot, you're in the flow state. Okay, how do you get there, though, is the question. How do you get your mind to that spot? A few things. First, you have to train your mind into that spot. How do you train your mind into that spot? Meditation. That will connect you to the divine source. That'll put you here. Next, you have to train your mind. That is training your principles. That's what the golden funnel, that's what the mastermind is. Everybody, that's why you are getting so many benefits, because everything you're learning is training the mind. So we have both together now. What happens is when you're in that spot, and we're going to talk about how to get there, you have to first meditate. And secondly, you have to train. You have to train on correct principles. And that is when your awareness will dwell between these two activities. Meditation and training. This is the mad combo that will put you in the flow state. Now, how do I know this? I don't have a degree. I've never graduated from Harvard. I don't know all these smart people. I don't know scientists. I'm not a psychologist, technically. I'm not a sociologist. I don't have no degrees, no credentials. How in the world is this true? Here it is. I told you. My intent is to know the infinite truth. I want to know infinite intelligence. So I bring infinite intelligence here, and infinite intelligence speaks through me. That is what you experience. Grand rising. Happy new day. So this is where you live between meditation and training. Then when they merge together, it's meditative training. You're in activity, but you're in a total meditative state while you're in activity. That's where you want to go. You have to listen to the audios. You have to write the audios down that we recommend. You have to read the physical books for long periods of time and think about those books and what they may mean in truth, in absolute truth. You have to consider new things. You have to look at the evidence of your actions and physical actions. You have to assess those actions. Okay, the actions tell me, what are they saying? They're saying I'm thinking differently than my behavior shows. I want to close the gap. This is when you start thinking. You're training your mind. Now you're keeping numbers. You're saying, I don't want to be delusional. I know the mind's tendency to be delusional. You're training your mind. You're saying, I'm keeping track of physical numbers that are measurable so that I don't ever believe myself into delusion. Okay, you're training your mind. And also, you're disappearing into meditation. Meaning, you are not stopping thought, but you are not following any particular thought, and you just are here right now, dwelling on the tip of your nose. And every time your mind drifts off, you bring it back. Every time your mind drifts off, you bring it back. Every time your mind drifts off, you bring it back all day long. Now you're in a meditative state. So while doing your training of the mind, by reading the right books, by associating with the right people, by caring for other people, by loving other people, by serving other people, by contributing, by reading the right books, by having the right intent. This is all training your mind. And also removing yourself from the intent, not being the intent, but being a space within it and around it. Not being any particular thing. Both of those at the same time take you into the flow state. So the only part that's missing is you don't regularly meditate yet. That's what we practice in the group. One of the structures of the system is you meditate and you talk out loud to the divine. This is first. You have to be in a meditative state. Then other parts of it are, we need to train you how to think. Okay, what's the wrong with how you think right now? You think about how all day. That's the problem. Where you start is where you finish. So if you start in the how, you end in the how. Meaning you always are thinking about how. That's where you start and end. You're in your head. You're anxious now. You are now going to the doctor saying something's wrong. I don't know what's wrong with me. You now don't know what's going on with you. You don't know what's wrong. What's wrong is you are thinking about the how. And it's a hamster wheel that never ends. That's the issue. What's the solution? The solution is not medicine. Oh, take your medicine if you need. I'm not telling you to stop. Do what you do, but also do this. Bring the finish line right where you are. Here. There we go. Cleansing. So, this is what we do. Now, is anybody increasing their vibration today? How many people increase their vibration today? How many people feel better than when they first came in? How many people's vibration just increased and feel good? How many of you feel good? Okay? Y'all wonder why you feeling good? If I wasn't feeling good, you wouldn't be feeling good. I got to transmit the energy. I'm a transmitter. So that's what we do in the group. When you join our mastermind, I'm transmitting this to the group all day long. Me and Alicia, this is what we do all day. We're basically transmitting good energy into the group all day. That's all we're doing. And the people in the group, in our mastermind, they keep growing because then they increase intent. It's people in the group now thinking about serving the group more than they're thinking about receiving from the group, which is a major milestone. They have gone to a totally different vibration. There's people in there right now like that. I recommend you get into the mastermind if you qualify for it, meaning your soul calls you to it. I'm sure if your soul calls you to it, I can't not let you in, if I'm being honest. You will get in. Whether I want you to get in or not, you'll get in. That's how the soul works. When the soul belongs somewhere, it's getting there, regardless who needs to be told what to do. Any authority, any major authority of a country, any authority of a religious spot, monetary leaders, war leader, it don't matter who it is. If your soul says you're supposed to be somewhere, it will make them do whatever they need to do to get there. That's the power of the soul. So you are the soul. That's the reason why when you dwell in your soul, you are unscathed and untouched by evil. You're untouched by evil because you dwell it in your soul. It's pure light. It affects everything else, but nothing else affects it. You see that? So here you are. That's your power. Now you expressing that power unencumbered, meaning there's not a bunch of stuff on top of you and haters on you. You are clear to be yourself and flourish. And your soul gets oxygen and can breathe and feel good. That's where the joy increases. I'm telling you, you can increase your joy, double the amount of joy you have and the spaciousness and the experience you have in the next 30 days. You can do it. So, like I said, we're giving this away to the first 3 people who comment. What you getting is you getting a full breakdown course of this mindset that trains the mind and how to meditate all in one pack. It shows you how to do exactly this. That puts you into the flow state, and the flow state makes you statistically 500. You get paid on performance, right? So imagine if you were 500% more effective and better at what you did, you would make 500% more money. Multiply your income by 5. We go live in the morning, most likely. But we go live for a Patreon group. And if you jump into Patreon, you got to go through the course to get into the Patreon, because you need to understand some basics. But if you go through the basic course, it's like maybe, I say 4 hours of content. It trains you on this training, how we think, and then you can get led into the mastermind. And like I said, if you message me, we'll figure something out. If you belong there, you belong there. So we'll figure something out for you to do that. A 500x, yeah. Right. Or that's 5x, 500% 5x, I think. But still, either way it goes, multiply your income by 5. Yeah. Multiply your income by 5. Imagine, if you multiply your income by 5 by becoming 5 times more efficient, that means you're doing less, you're getting the same amount done. Or you're doing the same amount and you 5xing what results you get. The reason that you get crammed results is because you're in a crammed state. So you want to release yourself from that state. Yup. You gotta go. You gotta do some stuff. You gotta do stuff. That's one of the tricks about this. You gotta do stuff. It's not that you gotta do stuff. When you have the intent here, you are compelled to do stuff. You just compel forward. For instance, anybody who compelled to jump in a group right now, they're gonna do it. It's easier to get in a group than not to get in a group. It's actually harder not to be in a group than it is to pay or to click or whatever. It's actually easier to do that than it is to stay on the outside. If it's flipped, then it's easier not to do it than it is to do it. That means you're not compelled. Whoever it would be would not be compelled to do it. But everybody has like a meter in them where it's like, no, this would actually be less resistant if I got in the group. It would feel better if I did that than if I, in scarcity mindset, held my money and held my whatever I have. What do I have? It's dwindling whatever I do have. So it's 2 different ways of thinking. And I feel like that, like, it's better for me to be over here than over there for a lot of things, 90% of stuff. 90% of stuff that come to me is like, I should not be even in there. I don't even want to be involved in it. Mm-hmm. And it's actually much less resistant here than it is to try to go do that. I'm not wanting to do that. That is not a part of my thing. But then on the other one, this is actually not boot camp what I'm talking about. This would be just
Like a pre-course.
It's a pre-course to boot camp. So it's your mini boot camp. It's your at-home boot camp. Naya, thank you. Thank you. Y'all doing the work. We just transmitting energy. And things just naturally happen too. Yeah. It's a lot. We moving. So the next time you tune back in, it's going to be completely different again. We just keep going up. Always going to go up. That's what our group does. People who are in the group moving. Like if you're one of those people who 3 months ago is never going to be you again, like you always changing, you always upgrading, you always next leveling yourself, that's how it's going to be. It's different every time. Prices change, products change, the rooms we in change, what we deciding to do. We got to, our new content about to be totally different from the content we've been posting up until this point.
Yeah, we move fast.
We move fast.
If I think about it,
We move fast. We own it. We change. And that's what you want to be doing, is evolving. Evolution feel good. Yes, it is. Thank you. All right, anybody got any questions for me before I hop off here? My phone is literally about to die.
Oh no.
Any questions before we hop off here? Hopefully that helps somebody too. Hopefully that helps somebody. Yes. Feels good. You are welcome. Love y'all. I'm hopping off.